Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AES and welcome to my YouTube channel. Although I am sure that there will be more announcements in the next few weeks, the E3 event for video games is officially over. It was okay, as there have been events that were better and there were events that were worse. With that being said, I compiled a list of games that were revealed during the showcase and caught my attention, whether it was for the concept, the visual art style, or the gameplay. We will rank the games from least anticipated to most anticipated. I'm intrigued by all these games, but I will obviously be hyped for one particular title over others. Furthermore, I will include games that were announced in the past, but new information was shared at E3 or Summer Game Fest. As always, remember that this list is entirely subjective, and if you have a different list, feel free to share it here and we will discuss it. Without further ado, let us rank my favorite announcements from this year's E3 press conferences and Summer Game Fest, from worst to best. Number 35. Gungrave Gore. One of the announcements at this year's E3 was the creation of a new publisher, Prime Matter. The news included a list of 12 games from the new player in video game publishing. It had already released titles such as King's Bounty 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance, but Gungrave Gore is one of the newer titles. It is supposedly a chaotic third-person shooting game with flashy combos. Outside of the 2022 windowed release date, no other information has been given on Gungrave Gore. Number 34. Dodgeball Academia. Yes, it is a dodgeball game. Yes, the visuals are not what you would call next gen. Nonetheless, it looks like a fun indie title that you would buy for $20 and have a good old time. As long as it stays in that price range, I will look into playing and reviewing it when it comes out in 2021. Number 33. Shadow Warrior 3. I've never played the Shadow Warrior games, even though I own them. However, I was always fascinated by the sheer amount of craziness and wackiness with the combat system, enemies, and available gadgetry. Shadow Warrior 3 seems to continue in that trend. If the third entry ends up being good, I will make sure to play Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 before picking up the third entry in 2022. It is released in 2021, but it will take me time to get through the first two games before knocking out the next title. Number 32. Scars Above. The next game is Scars Above, which reminded me of a less polished version of Returnal combined with remnants from the ashes. Since I played Returnal last year and it ended up being one of my favorite games of 2021, Scars Above automatically made this video's list. Unlike Returnal though, Scars Above will be released sometime next year. Number 31. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. I am normally not a big fan of CGI trailers, but the designers behind Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt did a really nice job with sucking me into its lore and making me interested in the title's release. It is advertised as a multiplayer game that pits humans against vampires naturally, and so my only concern is the possible lack of a single player component. As long as it exists, there is a very good chance that I may give the title a chance whenever it is released this year. Number 30. Nier Reincarnation. To be fair, I am mainly adding Nier Reincarnation to the list because I plan to create a project about the Nier franchise. If that was not the plan, I would probably skip it, especially because it is a game for mobile devices. I will keep my hopes up and gamble that it will be at least half as enjoyable as Nier Automata. Number 29. Project Ferocious. One of my viewers recommended that I will play Turok Evolution for the PlayStation 2. While the plan was unsuccessful, I may be able to repay the favor by playing a game in 2023 that looks similar to Turok's title on the PlayStation 2. Project Ferocious looks to be the next-gen evolution of the Turok franchise, and it makes me very excited. I guarantee that the name will change by its release, but I hope that the gameplay remains the same from the trailer because it is the reason that Project Ferocious is on my list. Number 28. Elden Ring. If you have seen my video about From Software, you may be confused as to why Elden Ring is on the list to begin with. Well, it is only because of a certain author's involvement in the game's lore and world design, George R.R. Martin. You may know him from the popular series of books and television show called Game of Thrones. If he did not have a part in the title's creation, Elden Ring would be a cool announcement, but one that I will not play. Now, there's a small chance I will try it if nothing else of note comes out in January. We will have to wait and see. Elden Ring is scheduled to be released on January 21st of 2022. Number 27, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. The shocker of Ubisoft's conference, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is one game that I'm very excited to play, hopefully in 2022. It was a CGI trailer without any gameplay, so I cannot talk much about it. Thankfully, I was notified after the conference that it will be a third-person action game, so my fears of a strategy game are null and void. As long as the gameplay looks decent, I will probably give it a try. I'm curious to see what they do with the franchise that most people have forgotten about after its cinematic hype in 2009. Number 26, Sable. Sable's main attraction is its visual design. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but I really like it nonetheless. It almost gives me this comic vibe with a character that moves in a slow frame rate. I would buy it on September 23rd of this year at its launch, but it will be available on Xbox's Game Pass, so I will play through that service. Number 25, Inscryption. You won't expect a card-based game to be on this list. I did not expect it to be here either. Nevertheless, one of the first games that was shown in Devolver Digital's event was a card game, and a weird one at that. You'll have to watch the trailer and judge it for yourself. All of that being said, the reveal's weirdness is why I will keep my eye on Inscryption when it comes out sometime this year. Number 24, Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall is being co-created by Platinum Games. They made games such as Astral Chain, Bayonetta, and Nier Automata. When it comes to combat, they do not miss. Naturally, I gravitated towards adding this title to this list. Sadly, I'm not sure what to make of Babylon's Fall's status as a live service game. Granted, Marvel's Avengers was a live service, and I had some good moments with it. As long as the reason behind this format is not intrusive, I will take a gander with it when it eventually comes out. Number 23, Metroid Dread. I was disappointed that the news about Metroid at E3 wasn't the remastered trilogy for which everyone is clamoring. Metroid Dread, while not fulfilling that prediction, does manage to deliver on engaging side-scrolling combat scenarios that unquestionably pay tribute to Super Metroid. I have not decided if I will buy it on October 8, 2021 when it releases, but I might be in the mood to kick some alien butt to Samus while eagerly anticipating the trilogy or even Metroid Prime 4. Number 22, Soulstice. Soulstice reminds me of the reboot of Devil May Cry, which I personally enjoyed. The combat system looks very good, and the protagonist even holds her sword in the same way as Dante in the reboot of Devil May Cry. The existence of a ghost as a companion invoked my curiosity on her implementation during the various action set pieces, and the levels don't look too bad either. Soulstice will be released in 2022, which will hopefully be enough to iron out some of the rough textures that were noticeable in the conference's trailer. Number 21, Golf Club Wasteland. Golf Club Wasteland is set in a post-apocalyptic world, where most of humanity has perished, and now the rich have turned the planet into their own golf course. Even though it plays like any other 2D golf title, I was really impressed by the world design of the game's trailer. There's currently no more news about the title's release, but I'm keeping my eye on it whenever it decides to appear. Number 20, Tiny Tina Wonderlands. As the opener of the Summer Game Fest from Gearbox, the trailer was mostly identical to previous Borderlands games. The closer we reached to the end, the crazier the action became with flying unicorns. Right until the name's reveal, I was not eager to pick it up at launch. After I found out that it is Tiny Tina's show, I immediately became hooked. I'm sure that will play similar to her other appearances in gaming, but I have a feeling that it will be more fun due to the unpredictability of Tiny Tina's character. It is set to release in the early portion of 2022. Number 19, Riders Republic. If there is one word to describe my impressions of Riders Republic, it's fun. As a multiplayer-centric title that focuses on various sports such as air gliding and skiing, Riders Republic just looks like a blast to me, and a title that could be played for a long time. Keywords, could be played. As a multiplayer-only game, its success will heavily depend on the stability of its servers at launch, once they are populated by gamers. If the servers are decent, I may play it when it releases on September 2nd of this year. Number 18, Severed Steel. Severed Steel was announced a few years ago, and it is unfortunate that the trailer during the Future Gaming Showcase did not include a windowed release date. Fortunately, it does not stop the news title from being one badass of a demonstration. The running of Mirror's Edge, combined with the shooting mechanics of Pistol Whip, sign me up. I'm crossing my fingers that we will get our hands on this game sooner rather than later. Number 17, Wartales. This top-down RPG visually looks absolutely stunning. Nothing else to say about it because, quite frankly, I don't know much about the game outside of its coverage of various battles. The graphics were enough to suck me into its world, as well as keep it on the list of my most anticipated titles of 2021. Number 16, Solar Ash. The same compliments about Sable can be said for Solar Ash. It appears to be an interesting mixture of Fury and the Pathless. There is combat in the game, but it is mostly exploration through fast movement. I will definitely check it out when it comes out sometime this year. Number 15, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Persona 4 Golden is one of my favorite video games of all time. The narrative about a group of students who go to school during the day and proceed to fight monsters after school hours was told in a stellar fashion. And although I'm aware that the Persona games and the Shin Megami Tensei games have their share of differences, I cannot deny that I was excited by the gameplay that was shown with the reveal of Shin Megami Tensei 5. I would definitely have to play the older games before November 12, 2021, when I check out the 5th entry for the first time. Number 14, Guardians of the Galaxy. I will shamelessly say that I had a good time with Marvel's Avengers, as you probably know by now. Nevertheless, I'm glad that Guardians of the Galaxy are getting their own spotlight instead of being added to the Avengers as downloadable content. If the trailer reflects the final product, I'm already on board. The humor is maintained from their respective cinematic films, the inclusion of story-driven choices is cool, and the voice performances appear to pay homage to the main stars of the show. I hope that you can play as other characters outside of Star-Lord because it would otherwise feel like a third-person shooter. It will most likely be a release date pickup on October 26, 2021, but we will play it by ear. Number 13, Far Cry 6 Season Pass and Blood Dragon. Although the game was already announced and slated for an October 7, 2021 release date, its plans for the Season Pass were revealed at Ubisoft's conference. I was not surprised by the mention of a Season Pass, but I was pleasantly shocked by its content. You get to play as the antagonist of Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, and Far Cry 5 in a series of missions. Furthermore, you receive a remastered version of Far Cry 3's DLC, Blood Dragon. I only buy Season Passes for games that I really like, such as Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I haven't played Far Cry 6, but I may have already decided if I will buy its Season Pass. No information about its release date at this time. Number 12, Diablo 2 Resurrected. I have praised Diablo 3 multiple times on this channel, which is no surprise as to why Diablo 2 Remake will make its presence on this list. I personally have never played the second title in its original form, but it looks to be just as addicting as the third entry in the series. Plus, it will include 8-player co-op, which could be hectic, but also deliciously entertaining. I already pre-ordered it on the PlayStation Store, so if you're down to join me on September 23rd of this year and kill some demons, by all means let me know. Number 11, 12 Minutes. If you have seen the video on my top most hoped titles for this year's E3, you know that 12 Minutes was on there. Although the new trailer was brief, it revealed two important pieces of information that made me incredibly happy. On one hand, the game will be released on August 19th of this year. On the other hand, it will be free to all owners of Xbox Game Pass. You can bet your sweet behind that I will play it the second it launches. Number 10, Replaced. As far as Replaced is concerned, the world design made me intrigued. I want to know more about the people, the law system, and just what the heck is happening. It will be free on Xbox Game Pass, and it has a windowed release date of 2022. Number 9, Trek to Yomi. Imagine a side-scrolling version of Ghost of Tsushima that has noir's visuals. That is exactly what you get with Trek to Yomi. It is a samurai-based game with similar combat, incredibly animated visuals, and stunning audio design. No need to explain further, but expect a review when I play and complete it in 2022. Number 8, Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater. One of the genres that needed more of an impact in the last generation of consoles was horror. Outside of the PT demo that is no longer available if you do not currently have it downloaded on your PlayStation 4, there aren't many contenders from the horror genre that I would consider to be fantastic or excellent. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater was initially released in 2015 for the Nintendo Wii U, but it is getting remastered for current generation consoles. My first scary experience on the PlayStation 5 was Evil Inside, and it was disappointingly awful. Hopefully, Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater will change the impact of the horror genre in 2021 when it is released. Number 7. Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is here because it looks to be unlike anything that I've played in the past, and I have always enjoyed companies that take risks, whether it is with the story, visuals, audio design, or gameplay. This pick will be short, but hey, it's my list, and I decided to place it at number 7. No information about Atomic Heart's launch date is available, but there's good news. It will be free with Xbox Game Pass. Number 6. Somerville. I did not praise Limbo and Inside as much as other people, but I enjoyed them for what they were. Two bit-sized experiences that covered profoundly serious issues in a very artistic way. Somerville looks to replicate the uniqueness of those two games in its own right, and I'm willing to give it a try, especially since it will be free on Xbox Game Pass. You can probably tell which conference was my favorite in the past week or so. An intriguing concept for the lore, and spectacular visuals per the standards of Limbo and Inside to boot, Somerville looks like a day one play when it releases in 2022. Number 5. Stalker 2. I've heard about the Metro series during the era of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but I also heard about the Stalker series, which is a much older franchise and looks to be the inspiration behind Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus. After seeing the reveal trailer for Stalker 2, I may just have to play the older Stalker games. Conducted entirely in what I believe is Russian, the trailer was truly breathtaking when it comes to its atmosphere, voice acting, and overall visuals. The game looks to also be top-notch, and the concept of ravaging a post-apocalyptic world in what seems to be Russia is invigorating. It will be released on April 28, 2022, and thanks to Xbox Game Pass, I will be able to play it free of charge. I will certainly go through the older titles before entering the next generation, post-apocalyptic world of Stalker 2. Number 4. Halo Infinite. You really expected me to make a list of highlighted games from E3 and not include the showcase Halo Infinite? Amazing joke. The multiplayer footage looked very good, but I was mostly impressed by the snippet of campaign footage that was on display here. I won't discuss it here because it may contain spoilers for Halo 5, but it introduces a new character that could deliver interesting dynamics between Master Chief and Cortana. I'm worried that the lack of a definitive release date means a delay to 2022, but right now it is scheduled for this year's holiday season, and yes, it will be free on Xbox's Game Pass. I will play it, and I'm most likely going to enjoy it. Number 3. Planet of Lana. Of all the games that were announced at the Summer Game Fest, Planet of Lana caught my attention the most when it comes to visuals. It looks stunningly beautiful, and it is the only reason I need to pick it up at launch without a question. I have no idea what the purpose of my adventure in Planet of Lana will be, but rest assured that we will both find out when I play and stream it sometime in 2022. Number 2. A Plague Tale Requiem. When the trailer began, I thought for a split second that they decided to remake Prince of Persia Warrior Within. Then, however, I remembered that the remake to Sands of Time is supposed to come out. It would not make sense to announce the remake of a sequel before the announced remake of the original was in our hands. At that moment, the woman transformed into the girl, and I was surprised by what I realized. A sequel to the awesome A Plague Tale Innocence is upon us. I will have to wait until 2022 to experience the next adventure with the brother and sister duo, but I will be patient to experience greatness. Plus, it will be free on Xbox Game Pass. Number 1. Rocksmith Plus. The best game that was shown at E3 or the Summer Game Fest. Rocksmith Plus is definitely a biased pick because of how much I enjoyed Rocksmith in the PlayStation 3 and Rocksmith 2014 for the PlayStation 4. Rocksmith Plus looks to focus primarily on a PC version and features a subscription that will give you an expansive library of songs, improved calibration with an acoustic or electric guitar, and the inclusion of tabs for guitar players such as myself. My only concern is the price of subscription, which has yet to be revealed. Nevertheless, this title has the potential to not only be one of my favorite games of 2021 whenever it comes out this year, but also the best way for anyone to either brush up on their guitar skills or learn how to play the guitar from scratch. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. As a whole, E3 was not the best showcase I've ever seen, and it wasn't the worst. Fortunately, several shown games have caught my attention, and I look forward to possibly playing them sometime this year or the following 2 years. What was the best game that was shown at this year's E3? Which showcase was your favorite? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.